So let's start with what are tips that you got, however you want to frame it, for Baiken players. This could be like stuff you're working on or stuff that you see weaker people or players have problems with. But go over how you think what we should be doing more with this character.
Yeah. So I think for like when I was like gathering my notes to like do this.
Yeah.
I tried to aim for something a little more like philosophical with this character.
Right.
Partially because like I think there's like an excellent Baiken handbook you could just find on like the Dustloop wiki that'll just like cover all the technical stuff way better than I can.
Okay.
But also like I don't necessarily consider myself the most like technically knowledgeable player. I kind of just like forged in the fires of just like I mean I lab a lot, but it's like I'm it's less about like numbers for me.
Sure.
And just more just like feeling out like the opponent, feeling out how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know, just like basing it off of just like letting the game flow. So I could just like I'll just talk about some like philosophical stuff that I think like I've just noticed a lot of like new players aren't doing. And the first and I think most important thing I will say that I think new Baiken players or all Baiken players should learn is blocking. I think Baiken players should block a lot more. You know, you should. I think it's really important for this character, especially like I know Azami is extremely tempting, right? You get this character and it's like, damn, I don't gotta play defense. I could just hit this button and get like a fat reward, right? Especially in counter hit. But I think like the strength of Azami really just like exponentially goes up when you're actually like rotating your defensive options.
Yeah.
Right. And not just like blocking, not necessarily just like FD, although those are all like really good. But also just like doing stuff like mashing, right? Like just when you like have been Azamiing on wake up even like once or twice and you keep wanting to think like, oh yeah, okay, I should start to throw that. That's when you can start just like 2-ping, 5-ping, and then just like being able to get out of pressure in like a more reliable way that just won't get you blown up as much if you just kind of like guess wrong on an Azami.
Yeah. That is great advice. I'm curious, how long did it take you playing Baiken before you realized that you should be blocking more?
Immediately, actually, because it's like I think when I first jumped into this character, I think I was just like, I want to learn this character without zombie first, right? I want to actually learn guilty gear defensive options. Like obviously, I have to like pepper it in even like now, right? You should just like demonstrate it, but I think it's like. It's like I sort of like didn't completely understand Azami. Like I knew I had to like learn the game a little bit more for me to get like the most out of it. But I think it's also just like I didn't want to necessarily have it be a crutch. I didn't want to just like learn defense completely like all wrong before getting into it, right? Just like getting those bad habits out first, and then building upon that is like a way better.
That makes a ton of sense. I don't know if you remember. It was a while ago, I think. Hype for Sliced Bread was talking about how, I think it was during one of his first Rev Tuesdays, and he was just straight up like, bro, with Baiken, you don't need to know frame data, right? Like there are lots of common situations that he doesn't actually know or didn't know and had to learn much later in his like, growth, because you can get away with playing with like kind of ignoring that core part of the game so much. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's also just like you kind of I think the most infuriating thing, like people hate this character, right? People hate. Oh, sorry. People like hate fighting this character.
You can say fuck, man. It's not like we're on like broadcast TV. I don't give a shit.
Okay, I just wanted to be polite. But yeah, people just like absolutely like hate fighting this character, and I think a lot of that is like Azami kind of takes people out of their. I mean, Azami among other things like takes people out of their like comfort range, right?
Yeah.
And I think if all you're doing is just like wake up Azami, people are gonna start getting comfortable with that, right? So you kind of want to just like, you kind of want to make sure that people don't necessarily go, okay, they're gonna Azami here, I'm gonna throw it. You kind of want to just like keep your opponents like just like constantly guessing. And that power kind of goes away if you're just Azamiing like basically as much as possible, and that's why I felt like when I like approach this character, I try not to like wake up Azami too much. Like I do it obviously to just like put that fear in to like get out of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think from myself personally, I like to kind of just do it like in pressure situation.
Like what?
Like I think one thing I'm doing right now specifically, which I should have done years ago, is just try and go through the cast and learn all the block strings to find like red Azami timings.
Yeah. I feel you on the
so,
I
like-
should have done this years ago as someone who is like saw Peter labbing strings over the weekend and was like,
Yeah.
damn, that's why he's so good. Fuck.
Exactly. So it's like just trying to like find those optimal points in which I don't necessarily have to stress too much. I'm just kind of like especially with like chip, right?
Yeah.
Just finding those little gaps between like what's like a common string, like something usually in like 2D.
Yeah. So I think the one that usually gets actually I see people call this out with Blitz. So I think you can probably do it with maybe with Azami as well. But it's stuff like a string that goes into course or chord Resho.
Yeah.
You can probably red Azami the Resho like reasonably easily. Is my
I
guess.
mean, I know I could like off of like your 2S, I could just like, I mean, I was messing it up, but I know I could just hit your 2D.
Yeah.
And if you want to commit into like doing if you want to commit into the Resho, the thing about doing it against that specifically is that if I would have to basically try to commit to the red Azami when you do the cancel, because like if you start to go into like the Rekka mix up, like I could get blown up for the overhead or something like that, or the low. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's specifically it's like the gap between it might be 2S or 4S into Resho or 2D into Resho that I see people blow up, especially if they can IB the button that goes into Resho. So they'll do like IB Blitz. So you could probably do it with a similar level of risk, with my guess. But I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think I mean, like, because anything with like even just like a 1-frame gap can just get blown up by red Azami.
Yeah.
But it's kind of red Azami is kind of a risky thing because when I try to go for it, if you're not like super confident, or if you're not like super know exactly where you're gonna hit it, you're probably just gonna end up getting counter hit, just like blown up completely because of the way like damage typing interacts with like block stun. Like your timing's all gonna be sort of like different in terms of that. So it's something I would like recommend labbing a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. So
what else is on your mind?
Yeah. I think you want to talk about that. I think probably trips up a lot of like newer Baiken players. Something that I've had to learn basically throughout a lot of fighting games is to you're gonna drop combos. Like especially Dust Loop is gonna happen. Dropping Dust Loop is gonna happen like a lot. So you have to be
Hail
like,
to the king, baby. Where are you at?
Exactly. This one's for you, buddy. But I think I would think A3B's actually really good at this too. It's just like making sure you can kind of plan ahead when you're planning your offense and your like mix up. Plan ahead, like not necessarily like plan for dropping, but just like making sure you're not caught off guard when you're dropping.
Yeah.
Right. So for example, right, depending on like how like the Dust Loop worked out. Actually, am I gonna hit this? I'm gonna hit this. But
the reverse live demo curse. Usually it's you fuck it up every time you try and show something, but now I get it.
Exactly. Oh shit, there's health. Yeah. So I think just being able to formulate your kind of like flow chart for when you drop, I think is something as a newer player or something like a weaker execution, I think that's kind of something you're gonna have to reconcile with, and make sure you can kind of like contingency plan your way out of, right? So I think especially for like Baiken, right, being able to like tech trap, like air throw tech trap, in specific situations, when like when you perhaps mess up your Dust Loop too far, right, like that, and then you know, when you mess up your Dust Loop like too far.
Here, hold on. There we go. Give me that health back.
Yeah. From like here, right? And sometimes like you pop out like that.
Yeah.
You could either like if like defensive, if like a player tries to tech back into the corner, right? You could do something like Yuzansen when they hit the ground, right? Or you can do like what I like to do a lot is like Suzerain and try and catch them mashing, and then get another like Yuzansen and like blow them out in the corner and get for like massive damage. So just like being kind of aware that like you're dropping dust loops is common. It's like normal,
Mm-hmm.
and like making sure you create a sort of like contingency plan around
Mm-hmm.
that, so that you're not just completely like caught off guard and blown up by it is, I think, super important.
Oh yeah. Actually, I really like that advice. It's obviously, I think it's more important for everyone than just Baiken. Like with Chip, for example, this combo right here, right? The up kick into JD is an easy thing to drop, and then if you don't know your routes that well, you might go for the JD into Alpha Blade and it doesn't combo for whatever reason, or they can air tech afterwards. A lot of times people will see me go for here, go ahead and let me.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oops, fuck. They'll see me go for this, and then yeah, so drops there, right? Sometimes I know I'm not going to hit the Alpha Blade, and so I'll get an air throw here. Right, the Alpha Blade.
Right.
Yeah. See, I'm having a problem intentionally dropping my shit too, but it's
okay.
like the idea is not this is a setup, right? The idea is really more. Look, shit happens, and you got to be ready for it, you know.
Exactly.
And like what people do every single time they get hit by that combo is they mash to tech, and if they mash to tech and they tech at the first available opportunity, I'm gonna get that air throw. So yeah, that's awesome advice.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's where like dust loop kind of comes in, because like sometimes it's a blessing in disguise when your opponent doesn't actually mash the tech, because you salvage the knockdown anyway.
Yeah.
So just be ready for like all those kind of possibilities, and not necessarily just I'm successfully going to do this, especially if you're not super confident in your like ability to execute.
Yeah. Actually, come to think of it, one of the funny things that I've noticed is that like the better I get at this game, the easier it is for me to go back and watch videos of like Mikado players or whatever, and where before I'd be like, whoa, why are they doing all this next level galaxy brain shit that I don't understand? Instead, I'm like, oh, they dropped the combo and they fucked it up, and then they managed to salvage whatever happened next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like the mark of like I think a more consistent player. It's not necessarily. I mean, obviously, it's like not making mistakes, but can you be calm under pressure if you actually do make a mistake, and how can you like salvage that back?
Yeah. Man, these are awesome tips. So far we got block and we got drop your combos. Excellent advice coming from Oh wait, no, it was block, mash, and drop your combos. Let's go.
Yeah. Listen. When sometimes you get really into like when you're improving as like a fighting game player, right? You're kind of get into that habit of like I gotta be perfect. I gotta like learn it the right way. But sometimes you gotta like recognize you gotta go backwards sometimes and kind of like relearn and recontextualize a lot of that stuff. You're kind of like knocking in yourself as you're just like coming up, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, like when you're practicing combos, you're going to start out dropping a lot more combos than you are hitting them. So it makes sense to learn how to play off those situations. And like a lot of this game boils down to who can make fewer mistakes than the other person, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is excellent advice, right? As much fun as I'm having with it, this is actually excellent advice. And some people need to hear this, and some people don't because they've already internalized it. But there are many people who are in similar situations as what you're describing, where you're trying to do the right thing and you're too focused on getting it right to realize that sometimes you need to get used to getting it wrong too. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
What else is on your mind for Baiken tips?
Okay, third point was kind of a lot more nebulous.
Okay, let's go. I fucking love ambiguity.
I would say, like, I guess to go back, circle back to my like, previous point about just like this character is all about like getting people uncomfortable, right?
Oh yeah.
We kind of always want to like put people in that situations where they can't necessarily expect what they've always been expecting, and I think that's true on defense, but it's also like equally true on offense. I think one thing people have like I guess positive to me when I'm like playing them is that they've been telling me stuff like how like they're trying to watch out for stuff like IB Kabari, or they're trying to watch out for like easily reactable stuff like Suzerain, right? Like I think if you talk to more experienced Baiken players, they would say like Suzerain is just like a crutch, it's an awful idea. Like it's got too many like counters depending like that don't necessarily. It's got too many like downsides.
Yeah.
That the benefit kind of outweigh the benefits.
Yeah.
And to that I say, nah, right? Just like I think part of that is, I think a lot of this character's strength is like do a lot of like stuff that has like technical like counters that you could like react to, and then just like put them all together and sort of like overload your opponent.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways you can absolutely do that is by like varying up the timing of your like your block strings and like doing super late cancels to kind of like throw off what people are like expecting.
Yeah.
So I think, for example, right, one thing I really like to do is when I'm doing like IAD or like carry tsunamis, when I try to like RC them, I try to like vary my cancel timings, right? So sometimes I'll cancel like really late. Ah, shit, I'm gonna. Sometimes I'll try to cancel like really late, so that you like when the Tatami's completely out there. But sometimes I'll just like Kire.
Yeah.
And before that, I'll just, like basically right before, as soon as possible, so you can't really see the Tatami come out, but it like creating that sort of like rhythm gap throws people off and lets me get away with like more offensive pressure than I maybe should be allowed to get, right? I'm trying to do like the super like early ones, like that, right? Yeah. How much like of a time difference, like the late one is versus like the really early one.
You need some meter.
Yeah. That was too early.
Do you ever find yourself wire seeing before it even comes out and you get like a throw or something because they're expecting it to come out?
Yes, and that is just exactly right. That's another thing, right? Like doing it like even though that's probably unintentional.
Yeah.
And that probably goes into my earlier point. Right there. See how like late that was?
Yeah.
Before it even came out. And like that throws people off super hard. And usually lets me get like more offense than probably I am even owed. Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with like Kabari pressure, right? Like making sure I can kind of like do it super late or super early. Maybe adding little extra hits in before that, like throws people off so that they can't necessarily just like punish me for doing stuff that technically has like lots of right answers.
Yeah. It makes sense, and you know, like the more that you, especially if you see them IBing earlier in the string, right? Then you know that they're probably looking for Kabari. That if they're looking for Kabari, they might not be looking for Suzuran, or they might not be looking for the RKO or whatever, right?
Right.
You get all those little reads on what they're looking at, and then you can hit them with something they're not. I was actually I was thinking about that because if you saw Rev Tuesday last week when Bears won it all, he was hitting people with leaf grab. He hit Pepsi and CT with leaf grab. I am never able to hit them with leaf grab. And it's because I realized afterwards it's because he's doing so much to keep things moving and push the pace that leaf grab is a lot more viable there than it is when in the moments where I was using it, right? Exactly. Same thing. I think it's the same thing with Suzuran or like what is the RKO? Is that Himawari? Which one is that?
Himawari, yeah. So and that's one of those moves where it's like, I think on paper it's like completely awful, right? People like a lot of like higher level Baiken players will tell you just like, do not use it. It's completely useless. And you know, I think a lot of the fun for me is to just like do these moves that are just like really bad on paper and just like get your opponent to be thinking like, why did I even get hit by that? But then like it's another thing to be like, just like create situations that where your opponent is supposed to be like looking out for like XYZ things, right?
Yeah.
Like Suzuran has a lot of right answers, Kabari has a lot of right answers, and then suddenly, before you even know it, before you can even process it, you got hit by this like 40 frame command grab or something that you could just master or fuzzy jump out of.
Yep.
And get a fat combo off of it, and that's just like that's like one of those things that makes it like super fun.
Well, goddamn. All right. Yeah, I like the way that you describe kind of the varying the cancel timing, right? Like letting those cancel windows rock a little bit, or cutting them off a little bit earlier to push the pace, because it's definitely an underrated part of this game, right? But it's something that like Chip actually doesn't really dig into until a little bit later, because he doesn't have as wide open cancel windows on most of his moves. And so now when I'm seeing it for opportunities, I'm like, oh shit, I could have been playing this game the whole time. I had no idea. Anything else for Baiken tips on your mind, or should we move to the counterplay part?
I think probably a lot of this would come into the counterplay.
Sure.
Into the counterplay section. I think one more thing is just I think probably what I could do to lead into like how to counter it, but Yozansen is Baiken's strongest move by far, right? Or like not by far, but like one of her strongest like tools. It's like 9-frame overhead if you do it correctly, right? You get bat damage. I think one of like the best like starters. I joke that it's your best super, right? And I think there's I think a lot of folk once you like kind of get over that first hump of like playing this character, and then you kind of like get into the habit of like using your Dawson a lot. I think you kind of like tend to insert it into a lot of situations where you kind of like tend to insert it in such situations where you like as much as possible to like drill in that muscle memory. But I don't necessarily think it's the best thing to do. Like being able to do it when you have 50 meter on deck is not only just like the best sort of like one of the best like damage opportunities you can get, but I think there's a certain mind game that comes with like consistently doing it when you have like 50 meter. If you're like always doing it without it, I mean it's good to like to use it when you catch people off guard. When you consistently kind of like play that hand, people aren't gonna be in that situation where it's like they have 50 meter, they're gonna use Yozansen, right? So people are gonna be in those situations where it's just like it's either gonna be high or low. I'm just gonna block high here because they always like to use Yozansen situation. I think having that like game state kind of on the field and like getting people thinking about it allows you to kind of like subvert those expectations.
Sure.
I guess
do you do that by at first like are you conditioning people, hey, when I have 50 meter I'm gonna Yozansen, and then you don't, or are you just using Yozansen all the time so it's always a threat?
For me, I tend to put the state out that I'm using Yozansen with 50 meter first. I think because it's for two reasons. One, if they're not actually like actively looking for it, it's just gonna be like free damage anyway, right? If they're the kind of player that actually does kind of watch for it, then you can kind of like play around with it and start using it when you don't have it, right? Or start doing stuff like I have 50 meter. When I knock down the opponent, I'm just gonna run up low because you're not gonna react to the 9-frame overhead. Right. And I think that's something like I've been playing like Babalu a lot, right? And I think he got me in a situation where he was talking to me about when you have 50 meter as Baiken and I get knocked down across the screen and you're like running at me like a wild bust, right? Like off the rails. It's basically unblockable. Trying to guess like high or low is probably not gonna work out. So I'm just gonna like fuzzy jump here. And then that did put me in a situation where it's like, okay, well, like the fat damage I can get off of either Yozansen RRC or like off of a low confirm, like is out the window. But then I can play around with that space even more, right? Because then I could just like, okay, I'm just gonna air throw here, or I'm gonna Kabari, or I'm just gonna like do all sorts of other stuff. And now suddenly I have like manipulated the game state into a place where it can be favorable for me again, right? So yeah, I guess that's like how I feel about when I see a lot of folks just like doing a bunch of stuff with Yozansen, especially like when you do Yozansen without like 50 meter. But the best if you don't get a counter hit, the best you can get is maybe either a knockdown or kind of like a tech or like an air throw tech trap. And either of those options are like those are good, those are like fine, right? But they're not like doing 100 plus damage or like getting a dust loop in the right? So just like not necessarily like eliminating those options, but like just thinking about risk reward in that way makes the tool a lot more useful. Right.
And I mean, if you have 50 meter and you think they're probably expecting the Yozansen, so you go low once or twice, right? Then you get the opening. You still keep that meter, right? You still get to do that damage.
Or even in my case, right, where sometimes like I'll like mess up the I'll like not completely like be comfortable with the wake up timing. And then I'll just like whiff it, right? If you just kind of autopilot it, you probably will just end up getting like a YRC, Yozansen YRC anyway, and saving like 25 meter and keeping yourself safe. So
that's pretty good.
But I guess that would go to my point about like fighting Baiken when you have to like deal with Yozansen, which like if you're like dealing with Yozansen is really is like extremely difficult, or can be extremely difficult. I would say one of the best things you can like do in this situation is to kind of like if you see Baiken running up at you from like full screen, and trying to like bait out either bait out your throw or something with or a low block with Johnson. Like fuzzy jump FD is like really good, or like fuzzy jump. It's like more minus if you block it in the air than it is if you block it on the ground.
Okay.
So you could actually like probably get a punish off that too if you're like scouting it. So I think like in that situation, right? If like you gotta really like Johnson happy like Baiken. Definitely try and just like block it in the air is way more advantageous than trying to just like block it on the ground.
Sure.
And yeah, I think that's really good advice against this like extremely like cracked out move.
Oh wow.
And also just like it goes back to that point, right? Of like if Baiken doesn't have 50 meter and she kind of hits you as Johnson, like the best she can get is like either another knockdown or a tech throw reset, which I'm actually bad at. But so it's not super. It's like it sucks to get hit with a really fast overhead, but it's not really the end of the world. You could take like a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Like knowing that risk reward as the defender is something it's really important to like just keep in mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's if you think of the problem as Baiken as a 9-frame overhead, how the hell am I going to block this? Restricting the problem to, well, it's not that big a deal unless it's the last hit or unless she has 50 meter or something, like that starts to confine the issue a little bit more, right? Which
Exactly.
is smart. Do you play poker?
I get very bored with card games.
Okay.
I think conceptually I like poker. I think risk reward is very interesting, which is why I try to like channel that into fighting games. But no, I don't play poker.
Interesting. I used to be one of those players. I don't play poker, and the hardest thing for poker for me was that I couldn't play hands that I had nothing in. Right. I could not confidently or credulously bluff. Right. And it was because the kind of fighting games that I played before I tried to play poker, what little I did, was more the kind of I know where to stand and which buttons to press so that you do not win, right? And not, oh, we're playing this game of strike throw, or we're playing this game where like I have to represent certain threats. It was literally just, I have big button, you do not have big button, give me win, please. All right. Well, no, I appreciate the conversation on risk reward though, because that is one of the things that's hard for a lot of new players to understand. Yeah,
for sure. That's one of those things that come with time, and I think it's like, especially with this character, where you get like this is like the risk reward character, right? Like the reward on a successful Azami is like amazing, but also like a failed Azami will like lose you games, right? So I think having that mindset of like what's worth it in terms of like risk for reward with this character should be like almost at the forefront of your mind if you're like trying to formulate a game plan. Yeah. So I guess for the next point, I think dealing with like Kabari. I wanted to talk about a little bit about like dealing with Kabari. Actually, no, wait. Before I talk about dealing with Kabari and Suzerain, I want to say one important thing that will unfortunately. Saying this will allow me to lose many free meals, essentially. I'm like, if there's a camera right now, right? This camera on my face, I'm looking directly in that camera right now. Never, ever hold Blitz against this character. Okay. Like, I think Blitz against Baiken is super useful. I think when you were talking about your chip examples, it was like it's kind of like that similar thing of like Blitz against certain things like your J2K like cross up will allow you to not autopilot, right? And that's a similar thing with Baiken, right? Like I think Blitz against Tatami, especially like a close Tatami, if I do the super close one, is like so like I'll do that string, right, where wait, let me hit you for a sec. Okay. I do this and then I cross over and then that is That's how you beat that essentially. That requires me to start actually having to think on offense a lot more. And it's the same thing on a block string if I use like Kabari, right?
Yeah.
Like in a block string, like Blitz will get me. I can't like autopilot plus frames anymore, essentially. Right. But as tempting as like it is to tap Blitz, you use Blitz, right? You don't. It's better to like just kind of like tap it and just like whiff it than it is to just, like try and see if you can salvage it by completely like holding it down.
Okay.
And that's because I can just kind of a zombie it.
Got it. So if I hold Blitz or Kabari, what happens?
Oh wait, try it one more time.
All right. Oh wow, that whip.
Ah! Sorry. I guess for that far one, it's probably fine. If I do like maybe like a closer Kabari. No. That's actually pretty, and that's pretty good if I'm like super close, right? But like.
But that happens a lot. Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people think like, oh, I should blitz, but then like they just start like hold blitzing. Like,
yeah.
And that'll just straight up get you killed. So I think like it's really important to just like start using blitz a lot. So like use blitz against the character, but conservatively. Because it's also like when I try to do Kabari pressure, right?
Yeah.
Try and blitz again. Try and blitz after the 2-8.
Yeah. Oh.
Right, I can just super at it. If you try not to like autopilot the Kabari,
yeah,
I can just like super and throw you and still get a ton of damage. So just know that like, if you're gonna blitz, probably want to just try and like react to the Kabari, and not necessarily just like kind of autopilot it in the block string to like see if you could beat it out. Because like I definitely have like hard reads and like hard counters to it that isn't actually like super risky on my behalf, but would be like be the death of you if you try to like blitz it.
That makes a lot of sense though, because what you're saying is basically like, hey, in the same way that I encourage people to blitz the FDC Oki, and I'm like, this won't always work, but it's what it's what lets you start playing the game. Like, it sounds like you're telling me, oh, you should look for blitz on Kabari and on Tatami Mat, but know that if you do that, or if I start blitzing that stuff, then that's when you rotate in other like Suzerain throw or whatever, because you can tell that I'm looking for shit for Kabari specifically, right?
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
Yeah. So if I blitz this, that's me telling you, hey, I know what game we're playing, right?
Yeah. So yeah, and that's usually like the thing when people are like just come up to me and be like, what should I do against like as Baiken? That's the thing I always try to get at. It's like you should be using blitz a lot more, but please whatever, please don't autopilot blitz and please do not hold blitz because that'll just get you killed. It's like sucks to be like, yo, do this more, and then they start doing it more and then you just kill them for it. And it's like, I'm trying to be helpful, but also this is how I play the game.
Well, look, this is those cases are exactly why we're doing the Rev2 review, right? Like, the reason we're getting this out there is because we want everyone in Rev Tuesday and everyone who plays Rev2 to know the layer 1, so we can start getting better at the layer 2 and 3.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and I guess for my last fighting against Baiken, big point. I think, which is something like I think I wasn't originally gonna talk about, but I think some people probably, especially like if they're like struggling against this character, probably need to know is like, don't let Baiken just like Tatami in for free, like especially like IAD or Fury Tatami.
Yeah.
Like you could absolutely just like if it's like poorly spaced, you can absolutely just like 6P it. Let me try IAD. Kabari's a little. Yeah, see, like right. See, they're like legs out.
Yeah.
And I think like even see that Tatami Mat was out, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of like it's not even like the plus R, like the what's it, the projectile will hit you when you like counter it, right?
Yeah.
You just want to make sure you can like you're like 6K'ing it poorly spaced alongside like blitz and stuff like that to kind of get Baiken less comfortable. I think another thing a lot of people do is like if I like mistime it in the corner right after a knockdown, just like I think if it's like the most strictly timed, you can kind of like 6P it or throw it.
Oh,
You
fuck
know,
this.
just kind of. Knock it down.
Damn. All right.
Is this? Am I capping right now?
Oh, damn it!
Oh,
Fucking
wait, that
6P moved me
that
out of
was
the
a
corner.
It
Wow.
It probably depends on like what options you have, but like I guess my point is just like don't let Baiken. It's scary to see this character just like flying at you with like a big projectile that gives her like massive amount of plus frames and stuff like that. Just like try to be comfortable, just like using your like your head invulnerable stuff. Just kind of like make sure they're not just like jumping around and doing whatever willy-nilly. Just try to like hit him out of it.
Yeah, if you want to do like a 6P safe or a reversal safe or whatever to Tommy, like you have to space and time that stuff pretty carefully, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Which is like against like the expert level Baikens, probably maybe like less useful. But I think like if you're struggling against this character, that's like something you should absolutely consider. Just like don't just like take it, right? Just absolutely just kind of just challenge her out of it.
Makes sense. Oh shit! Hold on one sec. I got a bunch of screws loose on my hitbox, and the front panel's just coming off.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. All the like the fight stick maintenance, you just like game too hard, you know, and suddenly it starts unhinging itself like Drake drinking Sprite, you know.
All right, we in there. I think cool. So thank you for the tips. I think that stuff was awesome, especially learning how to challenge Tatami is one of those things that just like, again, once you force the other Baiken player to make like to understand that they're playing at like the full rotation of the game, you know, you might not win, but you'll make them think twice about hey, should I Tatami here or should I go for Kabari or whatever.
Exactly.
So that's like I think you've correctly identified that there are a bunch of things just right up front that make this character a little bit scary because it feels like she can always do whatever the fuck she wants. And as you start to tease those apart and break those apart, they become a little bit less intimidating. So thank you.
For sure. Yeah, of course.
All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over some of the replays that I believe you set up earlier. I will pull together a link real quick, and we'll do it on Watch Together.
Watch Together, okay.
Yeah.
I like when I was looking through all my VODs. I'm like cringing the entire time. I was like, oh my god, look at the scrub. It's constantly dropping combos, constantly like XYZ. I think like it's really illuminating to like just go through it again. Listen, I always like watch my VODs, but it's illuminating like especially at times like seeing my like growth. But I think it's also just what was the point I was gonna get again? I actually completely forgot my point.
I think you were downplaying. I'm pretty sure that's what you were doing.
I am downplaying quite a bit.
You were being embarrassed, and I understand. But you know what? This is the consequence.
Good shit to Kevin talks.
This is the consequence of being good enough at what you're doing that you get asked to talk about it.
I think I picked a bunch of like rounds where I'm like, it's like really close, but I definitely like make key mistakes, and then just like it completely falls apart. Just maybe to illuminate like what's the things you can do to kind of just like get me specifically, but I guess this also other Baikens just like uncomfortable.
Hell yeah! Well, I'm excited to see it all fall apart because this is that kind of shit that's useful. All right, I sent you a link. I think you should be able to drive from here. I'm muting the commentary so you can...
Oh, I'm driving. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Let me. I have the timestamps.
So yeah, this should already be queued up to the timestamp if you
Oh
joined it.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Sal's versus Senor Guapo.
Yeah. I mean, I really like this set. It's like super hype.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess let me back up.
Yeah, feel free to pause, skip around, however you want.
How do I reverse? Oh, like that. Okay, let's like take a look at that opener.
Yep.
Right here. Start Kabari. I think we were trying to like super during the set we were trying to super like out condition each other.
Yeah.
I think I think a bunch of times during this set I would do stuff like just like start. One of my favorite sort of like round start gambit is to just like start with suzerain because I think if you kind of get like a feel of like what does my opponent want to do round start.
Yeah.
I think most players who know what's up, well, they'll either like jump back or they'll try and like try and hit it with a low. And I think being able to do stuff like, okay, well, if they hit with low, you know, I can kind of start Azamiing or doing stuff like Kabari and try to like hit them out if they try to like super challenge round start suzerain in a way. So I think here I start right into like Kabari, right into burst. Right here, I think I'm just like super aggro. See, blocking right there. Perfect example of blocking. Like, I think, especially like a lot of the situations. Oh yeah, and also like I fly back. I try to like air Azami to trying to like suss out. Oh, okay, are they gonna try and like air? If they're gonna try and like hit my tatami, like execute tatami a lot. So it's like being able to just play that counterplay of like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna like jump in. I'm gonna Azami, stuff like that. And right here, right, I kind of like whip a button. I think I try maybe put myself in situations where like, oh, okay, well maybe I can Azami that, or I blocking right here into like a good punish. If it were right there, absolutely. Like, you know, there's not a lot of like wake up Azami in this. It's like a lot of like Azami and pressure, which I think is the real strength of this character. Is they're trying to like not just put yourself in situations where like your opponent can't be comfortable. Your opponent can't be comfortable just like pressuring you on defense, stuff like that.
Oh my god. I just want to take a second to acknowledge Bears hopping into chat with a Baiken story. He says, Teresa was consistently fuzzy jumping out of Suzerain into grab Rokonsogi pressure versus Mystic. So instead of not committing to a safer option, Mystic started doing Suzerain into delay Kuchinashi. And Teresa said, Baiken players are damaged in the soul regardless of which side of the ocean they come from.
Gotta be a special kind of like angry and belligerent to play this character, I think.
Absolutely.
You gotta revel into just like damaging people's expectations and stuff like that.
Yup. Ooh.
I try to mash there. I know for sure I try to mash there. Like, I think I especially during this fight, it's like I had a big when I was doing notes for this matchup. I was kind of I was like, do not get hit by that crosswise overhead or whatever, or the dandy step overhead. Do not get like counter hit by that at all. And right there, I got hit by it. Trying to mash out of it, trying to just rotate my options.
It makes sense though, because like that first round, both of y'all came out swinging, right? Like the momentum of this match just got off to a hell of a start. So I can totally imagine mashing on that.
Yeah. And you know, just I obviously mashing is you gotta mash with like purpose. I think especially with this character with like a wake up parry, you know, mash with purpose is always important. Suzerain, he burst Baiken. He doesn't really want to get hit by like any of my Suzerain nonsense. I think like because both of us we're like highly I think momentum heavy players. Right? Live or die off of that kind of like the momentum, you know. So I think especially against me, right? Like early bursting and like just making sure I don't get that like early lead is probably like really important. I think a lot of Baiken is like a very momentum heavy character, so just like, you know, being smart about like not making sure Baiken can't like start her stuff. It's a valuable way to think about that. Emotional burst. That was early YRC. Look at that red Azami. I think like I know like I think a complaint I hear from a lot of like newer Baikens, especially maybe like a lot of the Baikens in our regions, we don't like red Azami enough. And that's something like I really want to like make sure I hammer in, especially before Frosty, is just like make sure I can like comfortably red Azami without dying for it. I think like especially here, like that was a pivotal like red Azami. I know that's like super good against players specifically because of how link focused he is. So I think a good takeaway from that is just like red Azami a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying earlier, right? It pushes people out of their comfort zones, and in a long set, maybe like your red as zombie tendencies get called out or whatever, right? They can get adapted to, but the vast majority of your route through Frosty Faustings is going to be, you know, first to 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And that doesn't give you much time to understand how dialed in someone's red Azami habits are going to be, you know?
Yeah. Woo. I want to take a moment to talk about my mindset going into this particular sequence right here.
All right.
I was mashed in super. And I was like, I don't care what's going to happen here. I'm going to hit super and I'm either going to live or die on that. As a word of advice to people, I would say don't do that. Do not do that. Because I died for it. And that was, I think this, like, in that whole set, this was like, oh, right here. He like, I think right here also, I guess I could have maybe possibly zombied and, like, taken the round, but instead I just opted to, like, opted like chicken block. And I lost anyway. I think right here I tried to red a zombie and died for it. So, you know, I think there's always that, like, risk involved, and I think it's like knowing, like, being comfortable. Like, if I was more comfortable with like red a zombie in that moment, I think I would have absolutely just like destroyed, or not destroyed, but like I would have like probably won me the whole set, because I think after this the entire thing, like the entire set fell off and I eventually lost. But like I think like that moment would have been like super pivotal, just like to hit the red a zombie. And yeah.
What? Because I know Baikens love doing that super on Wake Up, and it's a pretty good Wake Up super. Is the main appeal just that it's an invincible Wake Up that often is not punished? Or, because like, I look at that and I'm like, you could have just zombied, and then like, if it paid off, you had 50 meter, and if it didn't, well, you died, but you would have died anyway, you know?
I think, so Wake Up super has its own set of like benefits. I think, one of the things is that like I think a big thing is like a lot of people don't know how to punish it. So obviously, like, if you play against a person who can absolutely like do the IB off the second hit and then just get a consistent punish, that you definitely know you can't get away with that. But the thing is, that's where, like, A, it's really hard, B, it's really risky. I think a lot of people try, when they start learning it, they try to do it like a bunch, and like, I think it's unless you're like godlike, I think it's almost more trouble than it's worth. And most people, if they do it, especially in like try to go for it, especially like a high pressure situation, they just end up dying for it. So just like having that as I know I'm taking a risk on it, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out. It's a lot better than just like Wake Up a zombieing and then just dying for it immediately. You get more outs essentially. You can also YRC it, which I do sometimes. And it's just like you kind of like book them into maybe like, oh, they went for Wake Up super, I'm gonna hold up jump, and then I YRC, and then suddenly like I have been able to like pressure reset myself out with like with only like a resource cost, not necessarily a health cost.
Makes sense.
That's why I tend to go for it in a lot of situations like that.
Got it. Okay. All right. We moving on to the next replay now?
Next replay.
Let's see. I can pull it up real quick. Where are we at? All right. This, I think, next one is with Babaloo, looks like. Here we go. Intense game. Ah, yes. This is the one that was off stream, right?
Yes, this was off stream. I didn't expect it to get uploaded or shared. But you know, I thought this match was really fun. I think
it's cool as hell.
Thank you. I think this match also like shows a lot of I guess similar to like conditioning over like, the long set that I did with Zao's. I think there's a lot of like we kind of know each other a bit, like because we play often. So there's kind of like a lot of layers in this matchup, especially with the Raven. Also, like we had the Raven. We had the Raven run down last time, so might as well just like see some of that in action.
Yep.
But yeah.
Let's check it out.
Okay, right here, I went for like a round start gambit again with Suzerain, but this time I try to like hit a really fast stroke on Sogi to just try and like catch backdash and then get a lot of get my like start like pressure. I think I personally tend to like really like because I'm a momentum based player. I like to really like going for like round start gambits and a lot.
Yeah.
Early burst there. I think right here during this like pressure string, he like fuzzy jump Gabari as like a relatively safe way to like not necessarily have to deal with Baiken plus frames, or like you don't have to deal with Gabari or Suzerain in those situations. Especially if you like jump back FD, it's like you give yourself a lot more time to just kind of like react, and it makes it a lot harder for me to like start my offense if I try to like autopilot my offense too.
Okay.
So like the really good option there to just like jump back, kind of like fuzzy jump back, and make sure I can't like like Kabari or Suzerain kind of like whip. So, but right there I kind of like was watching for it and hit the Arizami into Kuchinasi. But early burst. I think I just try to go for it again. A lot of trades.
Hey.
Red Azami right there. Found the string.
But you blocked 2 whole damn hits before you went for Azami again, man.
That's true. Poking. I think I'm just like, I think this is like the very last game, so I'm like just trying to like I gotta like get my hits in. Too much Azami. I think he's like really watching for it at this point. Drop dust loop. I try to go in with a pressure reset right there.
Woo!
Again with
It's like watching a fucked up like ST fireball DP trap. It's just different.
I mean, I guess that's sort of I tried 6P right there. I'm doing a lot of early. He's doing a good job of like keeping me out. I'm doing a lot of like early I'm trying to do a lot of like early tatamis to try and like make sure I can force my pressure in, but because he's like backdashing and he's trying to like keep his space, I can't like really get anything started.
Yeah, this is probably the most that I've ever seen a Baiken chase.
Yeah, I think that's like that's if you've got the character that can kind of like get that range advantage, I think that's a really good thing, because like Baiken has a lot of committal stuff when you're trying to like get in mid to long range. Not even too much long range. Like close range she excels, but if you can kind of like keep her at over like range comfort zone, you can definitely like excel in that, right? Right there I was mashing Azami, it didn't work out. He could have command through me, but he didn't. That's fine. Creating space. Thanks for the leg pit, my lady, when I missed the Kire.
Oh, nice 6P
right there,
from Bablu, yeah.
6P, yeah. And I think like Bablu, when we've been playing a lot, he's been like just 6Ping my Tommy's basically every time. Like I have to be a lot more committal when I air throw.
Oh, got him there though. Spends the burst. Oh my god. You too.
Oh no! I don't. What was I doing there? I think right there, I wanted to like instant Kuchinasi, and I think I was just slightly too slow. I got hit. This time he blocks it, but I hit him with a frame trap. Nope. Sufficient lack of blitzes so that I can, get my stuff in. Throw.
Oh man, Bablu with his spacing here, just consistently staying outside that tatami range. No punish on the. Oh my god.
Ooh! Yeah, I actually think another good takeaway from here is that like trying to get Baiken, just trying to like stay out of Baiken's 2S range probably helps a bunch, because once you get sort of like outside of 2S range, I have to like basically do stuff like 2-8 or like suzerain stuff to get in, and or maybe like Kobari, and a lot of that stuff is slower and a lot more reactable.
Yeah.
The thing outside of like 2S range for Baiken probably makes the matchup a lot harder for her. This is where it really goes down to the wire.
Is 2S like kind of like your comfort button for grounded pokes?
I would say so. 2S definitely. It's like it's fast, it's hard to whiff punish, you know.
Yeah. Oh my god. Hey.
For here. I think I've been hitting a lot of like blocked Rokons and hitting 2Ls, because it's like I think like a common Baiken thing, right, is to, you know, you do the Rokon Sogi as like a level 1, and then you kind of like, because she's like -2, you can like Azami, right? But I tend to like, when I kind of get the inkling that the opponent is kind of like expecting that, I'll hit a bunch of 2Ls and get like pressure resets I probably shouldn't get, but because you kind of like wanted to play that game, like I know you know, I kind of like take advantage of that.
Just do it.
See, Fuzzy jumped the Zansen, so you didn't have to deal with it. He probably saw that at 50 meter.
Ah! Oh my god.
5P. I think I messed up.
I am incredibly surprised that 5P worked out.
Sometimes you gotta let the spirit of the game go
drops.
through you. I tried to air zombie there, I think.
Oh, nice punish on the knee.
Oh, but yeah, I just should have taken the knockdown. Could have killed if I had 25 more meter. That's the resource management not being in my favor, I think. I think that's like 2-8 or 2D. It was like, that was 2-8. Definitely better button than Baiken's 2H.
Yeah, I like that you both went in with 2Hs at bad ranges for 2H, right? Like both of y'all were, that was way too close for both of your 2Hs, but I guess Ravens is just a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's also like he probably wanted to hit my suzerain.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
A lot. Yeah, and I think I was just like, I'm like slightly out of 2S range. I gotta hit him with something. If I can get him to block 2H, maybe I can like get something started. But instead, it didn't work out. So at least I think that's how it happened. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I really like that game.
So those two were dope. Let's see the last one. Okay, an hour 22. We're looking at. Yeah. Damn, I just clicked right on it. I'm so good. All right.
That's a godlike reaction. All right, I picked a match with. I think this might have been the last match I had with you.
It's been so long.
I know it's my fault for not entering enough Rev Tuesdays, but you know, 9 to 5, I get off of work. It's like I do want to play Rev 2. Maybe I could actually enter this time, and then it's like I'm actually just in bed again.
Yep, I feel you.
Okay, I wanted to pick a match with you. Maybe you could have some like chip insight, maybe what you were thinking of while you were playing this. Yeah.
All right, let's see. What the fuck was I thinking here?
I mean, I know what I was thinking. I was like, I gotta make this work. This will be the day. I think we got really close in this set too.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. I start with jump P.
Yeah.
I think I was intentionally trying to go for something you weren't necessarily expecting, and I kind of sussed out that you kind of like to jump around start.
Interesting. So I usually chip IED at round start is generally not good, but the thing that I have noticed is Baikens often like to IED backwards on round start, right, and go for IED backwards to Tommy or whatever. And if I see that happens, then I can get my counter hit JD, which is a pretty fucking great way to start a round for me. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking like, I don't want to fuck with round start buttons. I don't want to worry about round start suzerain. Fuck it. Let's just see what happens. Because normally I don't see Baikens do a JP or something like that on round start. And you did.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, you didn't turn it into anything.
Yeah. I had the the how to get there, but maybe not necessarily how to finish that off.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Woo, that was lucky. It's not like I've labbed out spacing on like getting the Azami follow up to whiff, but it worked out for me. Okay. Yeah.
I guess one thing I did want to talk about when I was gonna get on defense is that there's a lot of like Azami safe Oki. And I think when you have Azami, right, you kind of think, oh, I don't need to blitz myself. Yeah. But I think one thing you can do to like blow up a lot of like Azami safe OSs or Azami safe like setups is to actually just use Blitz.
Use Blitz, like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think like a lot of Baikens tend to like, especially I was in that trap, like I don't gotta learn Blitz, I got Azami. But I think like if you know your opponent's gonna start doing like Azami safe stuff, like having Blitz on deck is actually a lot, way more useful in that situation.
Yeah, makes sense. Ooh. Oh, I got out. All right, we're running the Oki. Okay.
Blocking. Look at that blocking.
All right, I just want to get out of the corner now, so I do. Okay, yeah, JD gets hit. Whenever I play against Baiken, it takes me 1 or 2 tries to remember, oh, a lot of my jump-ins are super predictable, and they'll get Azami'd, and then I'll get fucking killed, which is probably what happens here, unless you... Okay, there we go. I get out of that. Yeah, J2K is one of those things that I think is harder to Azami. Woo! I'm pretty sure that super would have just hit me, but you were being nice.
I think I saw that you like
teleported.
Gonna get hit by it. Yeah, no, because like I think it's bad muscle memory from like when I play against One Bin. Because he loves to do the thing where he like teleports in place. Yeah. And I'm just gonna like super this, and it usually worked out. But I think like I saw the green of the FD, and I'm like, this isn't gonna work out. I think. But I think maybe I'm just thinking like too much about it. I think there's one other thing. I think with Chips J2K, like a lot of Azami follow-ups off of that is actually like not super favorable because a lot of the Azami follow-ups are slow. Yeah. When I was labbing it out, I think the most luck I got was at doing super, but that's like super committal.
Yeah, I think it depends a little bit on the spacing, like the height at which Chip does J2K, because if I do it at first contact, then I think I'm still up high enough that I might get hit out of recovery. But if I do it a little bit lower, I can probably land and hit you out of the follow-up if you did it, or be somewhat safe.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, that's something to like consider.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember this one being pretty close.
Yeah. And in general, with a lot of these teleports, mostly what I'm trying to do is see if you're consistently beating it with the right thing, right? Because if you are, that means that you're paying attention, and I should be baiting it more or not using it as much, right?
Yeah.
If it feels like it's mostly random whether you punish a teleport or not, then I'll probably keep going it for a bit. Yeah. Woo, my God.
Wake up, jump, Blitz. I don't know what I was thinking. I think like let the game take course there.
Oh my God. All right, we got combos. Overshot.
Yep, you like 6P my Tatami.
Yeah.
Making sure I don't get any like pressure.
Yeah, what I've learned from playing, mostly from playing Bread a bunch over the last month or so, is that I have to hit Baiken when she's attacking, not when she's defending, which is weird, but it's how this works, right?
Yeah. Kind of like it basically a huge inverse, but like something you gotta like definitely comfortable with.
Oh, all right, you got the dead angle. And yeah, I mean the other thing obviously is just like going for these lows is a little bit safer. If I can keep on doing that and keep on breaking your attempts to do stand Azami or whatever, that's fine by me.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my replays.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much. This has been incredibly useful. I know you said at the beginning, like, oh, I'm not the most technical or the most knowledgeable Baiken, but that's actually why I was really excited to have you on, because like you said, like anyone can read the handbook. Anyone can can look at like super polished, super experienced Baiken players, but the essence of Baiken is fucking getting in there and fighting with your guts, right? And yeah. I don't think there's anyone who demonstrates that certainly not in Northern California quite like you do. So thanks for sharing knowledge. I really appreciate it. If you're down, I'd love to get in some games. We're gonna open up and hold the lobby for anyone who wants to come in.
Yeah, I'll join for a little bit. I gotta eat dinner at some point.
Hell yeah. I always eat dinner after stream, so I appreciate whatever time you can give us. All right, go WC, play GG. Also, for all of y'all, we'll run this as a specific lobby. So we got H3E8 up in there. If anyone wants to come through and play, please feel free. Also, don't forget, we got this calendar up that Gutter Daughter is running, right? So if you see this here, it's the Rev Tuesday Net Play Casual Calendar. It's pinned in the Guilty Gear channel for NorCal Anime, in the Wednesday Night Fights Oakland channel for Guilty Gear, and for I think Wild West Guilty Gear as well. And what we want to do is we want to get people committing to running like regular lobbies, right? Just to make sure that at certain times of day, if you want to get some games in, that someone out there is down to host a lobby. So if you are down to help do this for the community, please hit up Gutter Daughter to get edit privileges. We just want to set this up, make it real easy so that people can get in there. Thank you. And let's see who we got. We got the whole crew coming through. We got SeniorChildren. We got Babaloo. He wants that run back.
Oh my god. I mean, it's fine.
Hell yeah. I mean, we'll get you in here one of these days. What's up?
He's playing Faust right now.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of work with Faust too. It's been nice, helping us prepare for Elven Shadow. You know.
Yeah.
Krakatoa, Ryudo, all those Fausts out there.
Okay. Ah! Okay.
Oh.
My key, please.
Oh my gosh, I just did that shit. Here I was. Oh my god. I was looking for I was looking for Kabari like a fool.
Yeah, you know what did I say about rhythm? Okay. Nope. Okay, no.
Oh my god. Woo!
Okay.
Oh my god.
I tried to game it. I think right there I tried to...
You tried to what?
I think I tried to like anti-air it with something, but...
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
I should have told anybody that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the tips, Jeremy. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. That's right. You gave me all the good stuff. But see, this is it. It's proof that you know what you're talking about. That shit works.
Honestly, at this point, like, if I can get everybody to just, like, completely wash me, and I can't get a single game because of the knowledge I instilled, I did my job.
Exactly. That's what's up. Because, you know, the worst thing in the world is to see the homie playing on that big stage, right? Playing on the Frosty Fausting stream, playing on the Combo Breaker stream, in front of everyone who gives a shit about Rev2, and seeing them play that Baiken matchup, and then they lose to some shit that you do to them, and you're just like, oh, come on, man. I let you down.
In the inverse, if they win that matchup, you're like, that was my big win.
Exactly.
I actually did that.
And then you're like, and you know what's more? The homie's free to me. This Baiken fucking sucks. Meanwhile, it's like Mista.
Yeah. You're right.
Shouts to Mista. Oh my god.
Yo.
Oh! Damn it.
Oh, okay. I guess like with Faust, if you press the buttons same way. He, like the angel shows up in the same way.
Yeah. Also, the last time I picked right against him, it still gave me the fucking blow up.
I think I pointed that out once, and I was like, I should have pointed that out.
Oh, where'd you find? Graffiti saying that they found a place for locals in Seattle. I know. I think GameWorks is the last place that I knew where they were running beer locals in Seattle. I don't like just the one downtown. Oh, this is a good kill. Oh shit.
Layout.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played Sword Ring.
It's good.
I'm free.
Every time I get counter hit by that 5H, I'm like, man, man, why does it hit on top of you and behind you? Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Word. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Real gamer hours right now.
Frames.
Oh, I'm so lucky. Until that happened. Jesus, these trades. Okay. Okay.
Oh my god. Wangin'.
Oh no, I'm dead. That's a dead ninja.
Listen, all DPs are good DPs, even if you miss.
Oh my god, just keep doing it. God damn it. Oh, stuff to 6 feet. No! Word.
Yo!
No!
Oh!
Oh my god. Oh no! Danger time letting me down. Okay. This is where we run it back.
Like what? 2 guesses, 2 winning interactions. There you go. Pressies?
Okay.
Oh. I like it.
Oh no, that fucking JK. Oh, it actually I think would have died to flash kick. Oh, I blocked that.
That's not what the game said. You know, if you're playing Google Stadia.
Oh no, missed the alpha. Oh fuck that. Actually I didn't realize that I wall claimed there.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Alright.
Dub secured. The background of this fight is a GameStop.
Alright, let's do it.
Oh, that's never. lucky. Woo!
Oh, that was I've been playing on like hitbox semi recently, and then I had to send it to repairs. So now we're like getting back used to like stick.
Oh, nice. Woo!
Oh, I suck. Oh no. Okay. I thought the Suzerain would absorb that, but I guess maybe.
I think you got caught before Suzerain goes to armor.
Probably. No.
Oh, lucky.
Luck? 10% luck, 20% skill, 50% angry Baiken grabs. Ah! Oh, I should have ran that there.
Oh no. Okay.
No! Okay. I promise I know what to do in J2K. I'm trying to hard commit options.
I will say when you were talking about Baiken, and especially your Baiken being like a momentum-based character, I think that's true in a very literal sense, right? Like when Baiken's moving slow, she's not that scary. Hey, later graffiti.
Yeah.
And so like
I think
you kind of got caught floating there, right? Like, oh, I air tech, now I'm jumping back, trying to get back to the ground where I can do something. And that like Baiken is just not scary in that position.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could like hard read options, like maybe like if I'm floating in the air, I can like keep falling a zombie, right?
Yeah.
And it's, like if you catch me and stuff like that. But yeah, I would agree. It's like Baiken's definitely more scary because she's like moving like a freight train, like off the rail.
Oh, big boy. Ow. All right, the way I played around that little man was beautiful. Oh. Oh, nice. Woo.
Bro.
Damn it. No!
No meteors? I've definitely joked that like it doesn't matter if Faust throws the meteors or not. I will definitely have forgotten by the time it's in the air.
I was trying to do that. No, not enough.
Oh!
Oh, God damn it.
Okay.
I love that I'll complain about not having enough invuln on burst Zansei to get through all of meteors, and then somehow managed like I think that was like a 6H trade and combo off of it at half screen.
Uh-huh. Would you say that's perhaps downplaying?
I wouldn't mind a little bit more invuln on burst Zansei. If you're gonna make something so obviously satisfying and so obviously a terrible idea, oh nice. Just
That's
give me
true.
a little extra juice on it.
Escape. Oh.
Oh, God damn it. No! Oh, God. No! Damn it. 6P would have worked. If I did leaf grab YRC 6P, that would have worked.
Ooh. You're like half seconds here now.
Look, three 2Ks in a row is a legit Guilty Gear mix-up.
Uh-huh.
Who the hell isn't gonna start fuzzying after 1 or 2 2Ks? Leo, I guess, because they want the charge for flash kick. Oh no! Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
No! That hurt. Oh, that also hurt. Lucky. No, I blitzed the overhead and the unblocked at level last.
Wait, this sucks. I don't
I'm
want to
dead.
fight. I don't want to fight Leo. You got this. You got
No!
this.
All right, it's all you. Damn, I hate when I try to blitz and I'm in the block stuns a little bit too long, and so I just end up getting like FD or some shit.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know what? This is the game we play. It is hard to do shit, and sometimes we'll die for it.
So that's why it's
Oh my god.
Ah!
Oh!
Oh!
Oh man, yo, that. I'd be mad if my 2H got backdashed like that too. Chop, chop, chop. Alright, yeah, get out of there.
Oh, you're a genius. An absolute god of video games.
Oh!
Alright,
Chuck him. Hey. Wow. Okay.
Okay, I know exactly what to do. Okay, I completely know. Okay, I know exactly what to do.
That's right.
Okay.
Woo! Word!
Bro, I can game too.
Hey,
oh, I suck. I actually suck ass.
That was almost sick.
Okay, I like this. Wait, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay. Hey, Kyan, thanks for the raid, homie. Appreciate it. Woo! Yeah. Oh, the threats. Oh, that would have been sick if you baited that too, but. Yo, just do it. Brilliant.
See, if I tried to a zombie there, I would have failed.
It's
However,
true.
mashing.
Yep. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Note to self, Baiken's wake up super or reversal super is really good when the opponent is in a state where they cannot block.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Oh, big damage. Holy shit. Okay. Hold that. Oh, the OTG? Okay.
I should throw that.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yo, let's go.
Oh, I'm mashing.
Now, if you believed you would have burst super,
Like
though.
FTP. I fucking guessed it. Alright.
Oh, no. You hate to see it.
Alright, let's go.
That was tight, though. That was tight. See, you should have wake up burst super. then we wouldn't be sitting here watching Leo versus Faust.
You're right.
Yeah, the thing about playing Sword Railer is once you, I don't know how effectively he can rotate off of flash kick, but once you realize how many flash kicks he goes for in like pressure situations, you just have to budget a couple of your like advantage situations with cool. You're gonna run up and do nothing, and see if the flash kick comes.
Right. I guess and that's where you can start, maybe rotating off of that. But however, I understand the allure of the wake up DPs.
The thing is that it's hard to rotate off of that, right?
Yeah.
Because like when you stop DPing, what does this mean? Well, it means you'll eat less DP punishes, but it also means you have to block more. Yeah. Who wants to fucking do that?
It's called a fighting game, not a blocking game.
Oh my god, that burst. Woo!
Okay.
Alright, Babu with another late burst. Oh no! Okay. Eats the candy bar. Oh! That sucks. Hey, Ismail, thanks for the raid, homie. Appreciate it. Oh! Oh, get blown up. Nice challenge. Oh, the homie coming through. Nope. Oh wow, that's gonna be big. Oh!
Yo!
Alright, nice throw. I feel like you can tell that Babel is still kind of unfamiliar with Faust, because I feel like good Faust don't use the item super as much. Like, because they have things that they actually want to spend their meter on.
That's fair.
Oh no! Hell yeah, do it. Okay.
Oh.
Alright. Sword Railer putting in some work.
You're up again.
Oh, come on, what happened? Hold up.
Oh no.
Alright, there we go.
The telltale dreadful sign of the Windows, the noise that Windows makes when you unplug
The worst sound in the world. No, actually, you know something's really fucked when you unplug something and you don't hear that sound.
Actually, you know what? You're right.
No! What the fuck?
No!
Come on.
What happened? What happened?
Alright. Let's do this. Alright. Sword Railer, too kind, lending me a burst as well as letting me get in this round.
The homie burst. Something up for the homie shot. Yep. Good TP. It's like I got one of those too.
Oh. I don't think it's combo. Oh wow, the JK of the gods.
Oh!
That might be. No! I went for Bonky. I was like, maybe he'll do a counter and I can kill that.
I like the attempts.
There we go. It's Chip's life.
Nice. Oh. I love it. Oh.
That hurt. Woo!
Oh.
By the skin of my fucking teeth.
I imagine these are so close. It's just like the most stressful thing imaginable.
I mean, for better or worse, that's like every chip matchup.
I guess that's true.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god.
Alright, got it. Yeah, Leo, honestly, the thing that fucks me up the most about Leo is 5H. Because everything else about him, you kind of understand the range pretty easily. But 5H, just like, he presses it and then it's like half the screen is his on both sides. That's the thing that fucks me up.
Yeah. You're just like, why do you get Blitz? Oh. Okay. Why did I do that again? Okay, right. Don't let me mash off the buggy. Ah! I off UIB. Oh god, I can't get anything.
Oh no!
Oh, thank you!
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. Ah! Ah! Alright. Ah!
Word?
All right.
No! Fuck.
Let's go, let's go.
It's like, oh, you thought that was the worst burst? Let me show you what the worst burst punish looks like.
Competition now. Okay. I gotta stop doing that. Okay, wait, I get it now. No, I don't get it now. Oh god. Okay. Attack!
Nice. Oh, got me.
Oh, I fucked up. Oh, let's go. I'm actually godlike.
Oh. I thought you were gonna wake up super there. Oh no!
Guess what? I tried. No! I tried to run! Okay. No, not like this. Ah! God! Why did I attack? I was mashing!
Good stuff, good stuff.
Thank you.
Bear saying that was needlessly cruel. You're right. A cleaner chip player than I would have finished without the air tech reset.
If you're not being as cruel as possible, why are you playing?
Would Bunky have killed there? Oh my god, clearing the poison, let's go. Oh god. Damn it. Oh my god! Why'd that hurt so much? Where'd my health go?
I'm constantly asking this question against Faust.
Oh, nice. Oh, got him. No! Oh, and again.
Oh!
Okay.
No?
Oh no. You know what fucked me up? It was the helium. Oh god. No! Ow. Good, Blitz. Oh, I blocked that. No! Fuck. Alright, well. Oh, good throw. Jesus! Oh no!
Yo, where did that come from? Where did that? Oh my god.
I was almost out. Almost. Fuck, if I had just done like Rekkas or some shit, that probably would have worked. God damn it. Ooh.
What a counter. Oh, oh. Actually, it's not the tree.
Woo. Alright.
Every time I see a win team, I just think
Yeah. Oh, the trades? Alright, thanks for coming through, Bears. Appreciate it. Oh, that was tight.
my god.
Oh, again with the fucking big meteor. Let's see if it hits. It's it. Oh, what? that was fucking sick as hell. Oh, stop.
Okay. Yo, Dalaman? I. Let's be fine. Let's be fine.
Ooh.
Not bad. Oh no.
Ooh. Oh no.
Oh god, I'm making every wrong decision. You know what? That's it. That's it, this is it. Reset, reset, reset.
Yeah, Babalu just going for that oil slick. Oh, nice.
I did not have told him that.
Okay. Oh, you hit him into the donut though. Wow. Working on your Eno mix, huh? Dope.
I would like to get something started. Ah! Oh! Okay, wait. I get it now.
Okay, but Baiken with the helium though, I'm kinda into it.
You monster. You monster! This motherfucker knows all my tendencies. No, I wanted to. Oh god. I'm embarrassed of myself. This is fine. Actually, you know what? This is fine. Ah! Okay.
I respect the fuck it moment that you had there.
I think folks who know me know, like 99%, I'm just gonna say fuck it and do the dumbest thing imaginable.
Look, either you lost or you won with the dumbest thing imaginable. I understand.
Exactly.
It's a 50-50.
Exactly.
Alright, I'll shut down the stream after this one because I gotta go eat too, but I'll leave the lobby open in case people want to keep playing. Nice throw. Oh, fuck. No! Oh, good. That was good. I fucked up like 2 teleports.
Oh my god.
Oh, good. Alright. Yeah, he's looking for teleports really good.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Oh! Got stoned.
Gold burst? He's just gonna spend it? Mom, can I have money for meter?
I mean, he'll get another one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, nice throw, nice throw.
Oh!
Fucking 2K. Oh. Nice throw. Oh!
Thank you.
Oh, good blocks, good blocks. Ah, yeah. Okay, he's looking for that teleport now. Good shit. Alright. We'll call it there. GG's Babalu. GG's Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming on the stream. It was lovely to have you. You're always welcome here. And look, when your work stuff gets a little bit calmer or whatever, I hope to see you in Rev Tuesday again, man.
Thank you. It was nice. Thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Of course. So thanks for everyone for coming through. Y'all know what we do. We hold it down for Rev 2. So you'll see us here for Rev Tuesday tomorrow. On Wednesday, probably going to go back to streaming some CVS 2 and Marvel 2, you know, whatever I feel like playing on Fightcade. And then on Thursday, we run in games with B, still playing Melty Blood for now. So thanks y'all for coming out. Until next time, you know what it is. Love your life, be good to one another, and play some motherfucking Guilty Gear, y'all. We out. Mwah.
Tuesday train, I'm looking for a milestone, but doesn't seem to be one on very mine, but doesn't seem to be one on his path. He's far from my own. Where can I find you? The train has already gone. Not a big deal, no need to rush. Let's go by Thursday train.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。